Well, we went into this back in March thinking that disaster, all our shops are going to be closed, and then it turned into an absolute bonanza. Sales started to go up, and we started with freezers and computers, refrigerators, washing machines, TVs, and then it went to furniture, bedding, and now it's everything. And it's not like it's happening just in Australia. We're in 8 countries, and it's happening in every country in the world. So that we've got these huge increases in sales, and it's still happening in July, August, and it looks like continuing into September. So I've been in retail for 60 years, and I can tell you I've never seen anything that even resembles this. We've seen great sales increases over the years, but that's because we've opened shops. Here we're seeing it with the same shops, and 30 and 40 and 50% up on the same period a year ago. Quite amazing.
Yeah, it looks like the fourth quarter was particularly strong, and as you say, July and August sales seem pretty strong as well. What do you think's really driving the sales right now?
Well, it's pretty obvious that it's the fact that people have got money. They're spending a lot of time at home. They're not going to restaurants. They're not taking holidays, and they're bored, and so they're going out and spending their money. We call it retail therapy to keep them alive and well. So it's from a retailer's point of view. If you're in the categories we're in, it's not just Harvey Norman. This is happening right across the board to all the other retailers as well.
You mentioned you're in 8 countries. How did the international stores perform? I think some of them were forced to close due to COVID at some points throughout the year. How did they go?
Well, the thing is, they all closed in every country in the world except Australia. We were the only ones that stayed open. Now, of course, we've got Melbourne closed, but the rest of Australia has stayed open. So all of our stores at some stage overseas have closed, and that's had a big effect. But what happened was they closed, and the minute they opened, the sales went whoop and started to make up for all the time they were closed. So then we look at the results and we see year-to-date sales above last year, even though we were closed. So we have a situation in Ireland where it's up nearly 60% on last year in July, August. Extraordinary figures.
And how about online sales? Were online sales strong this year?
Yes, very strong. So what would happen, we'd be writing, say, $100 a week in a store, then it'd close. Online sales would be then $50 a week instead of $100. Then when the store opened again, the sales would go to $150 and the online would drop back to $10. So that proved conclusively that people would much rather be in the shop than online. So we thought the online would increase, and it has, but it's very marginal. But what it did show is that people want to go to the shop. They want to buy online, but 9 out of 10 of them would rather buy in the shop than buy online, this was a case where we could actually prove up what we thought was happening. And there's been a lot of talk out there about, people buying online now, and that's how they'll continue to buy. We've proven that to be absolute bunkum. So that's interesting.
And what were your top-selling products this year?
Well, it's been right across the board, but probably TV's been right up there because the technology and the big screen TVs and 4K, 8K, all that sort of thing, the better picture, the thinner TV, smart TV, all that sort of thing. TVs have been, they've benefited from this new technology. And the TV screen to look at today compared with 5 years ago it's a big difference. I mean, TV, the screen now and the sound is just magnificent.
Once COVID stops, people stop getting stimulus payments from the government and go back to working in the office. How are you going to be able to maintain the current level of sales growth at Harvey Norman?
Oh, I don't think you can. I think what we've got to do is say, listen, this is a once-in-a-lifetime situation. Take advantage of it. We're out there promoting very strongly, and not just in Australia, everywhere. because we know we're in the middle of a mini boom, if you like, in our categories. So we should take advantage of that, and that's what we're doing.
Which country is the best growth market for you right now?
Ireland, strangely, and that's a country there 10 years ago. We got into big trouble in Ireland and we lost 200 million there. Now we've got to claw back that money, which is wonderful, because to be up 59% in July, August in Ireland is like, wow, that's, beat Australia quite easily, which is only up 30 or 40%. But still, 30 or 40% increase on last year. I mean, they're figures that no one's ever heard of. If you're up 10%, you're going like a rocket. If you're up 5%, you're going well. Up 30 and 40%. I mean, we are in the middle of a household boom. And it's benefiting not only Harvey Norman, just every retailer that's out there in that category.
State borders in Australia, have they impacted your business at all? And do the state governments need to reopen the borders around the country?
We're in Albury-Wodonga, and it's had a little bit of effect. We're in Tweed Head, and it's had a little bit of effect, but not to the extent that you might have thought. And really, I'm not aware of any COVID cases in either of those locations. And it looks like to me that, they'll be relaxing those border restrictions because there's really no need to have them in the future. So I think that's just a matter of, does it happen today or tomorrow? I don't think that's far away.
One of the big stories this week has been Australia's relationship with China. Obviously, Harvey Norman sources a lot of electrical goods and products from China. Just yesterday, former WA Premier Colin Barnett said we'd poked the panda. Has Australia gone a bit too far with its diplomacy in China?
Well, China's like a very big place, and whatever Australia does, I'm struggling to understand how that'll make much difference. So whether you believe China's a good guy or a bad guy, you're not going to influence China very much, I don't think so. My view is that China's China's, Australia's Australia, and we both should get on with what we do best. And instead of fighting, I don't see there's any real benefit to China or Australia going forward by creating a probably unnecessary fight, or a fight that you just can't win.
Yeah, China have now placed some restrictions on Australian beef, barley and wine. Are they overreacting a bit to Australia's moves?
Well, I'm involved in this. I've got 15,000 Wagyu cattle, and a couple of years ago they targeted 4 abattoirs in Australia, and I get my meat goes through those abattoirs, and I was severely affected. And then a month or two ago they did the same thing again. So I'm thinking, I send a lot of meat to China. And so now I'm looking at other countries in the world to send it to try and, that China problem is a problem. Now I'm saying, did China do this deliberately to teach Australia a lesson? But I don't know. All I know is it's badly affected someone like me and a lot of others like me that are exporting meat to China. So. But I'm just getting on with it. I'm doing the best I can, and I just hope that China changes their mind sooner rather than later.
And Gerry, the US presidential election's in full swing. Who do you think's going to win the election over there?
I'm glad I'm not an American. I'd find it very difficult. I'd say, do I really want either of those guys? Surely you've got someone better. I mean, I just don't ever remember in my lifetime ever seeing two combatants that I think to myself, I can't vote for either of you. You might be nice, I just can't vote for you. I'm sorry, I'm abstaining. This is too hard. I find it amazing when they do their conventions and the things they say and the stories they tell. And I think these are the two smartest men in the world that are going to control the world, and I'm sitting here thinking, I don't believe it. It's quite amazing to me, I don't know. And we're worried about China. We live in a funny world, a very funny world.
Gerry Harvey, thanks very much for your time.
Okay, thank you.